Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Don't see you.
How you doing?
Okay, but I don't see you. Hello.
There you are.
Yeah. We'll tip the camera around a little bit here. Good. Well, welcome everyone.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hi.
You growing a
Oh,
beard?
everybody's on the air tonight. We're ready to go.
I don't see myself.
I need to mute them all.
Okay.
Okay. So we're not getting the background. All right, it's all yours.
All righty. Now we muted everyone for now.
Yeah, everyone's muted for now.
Okay. We were getting a background noise there, so we couldn't leave it all open. All righty. I was reminded of something at this last circle over at Fellowship on Wednesday night, and we had a couple newcomers there, and they had some questions that were really very good. And I think we'll touch on that as an explanation as to how we can do this on our own without having to be in a circle, without having to be working with another medium. We can actually sit back at home and figure out what we're doing and ask Spirit to help us in a way that we can do a little meditation and a little calmness. And as we allow ourselves to relax with that, it's going to be something where we'll have things come through and be a lot calmer in our lives. You know, the young lady that asked the question, she said, how can I do this on my own when I don't have a circle and I don't have a group of people that I could sit with and work with? And it's something that's very important. And we're needing to understand that if we have a friendship where we can talk to someone on the phone that's like-minded and open, we can practice reading for each other and just giving the random feelings you do feel and you do sense. Or we can actually have things where we'll feel it on our own. And you can practice this now. As a child, I used to be in a crowd of people, and I would see what I felt for different people there. And I wouldn't say anything, but I would just experience what I was feeling. And I'm sure each one of us has a feeling about different people around us and what we pick up with them. And to learn a little more about your own abilities is like sitting in a mall and looking at a person and see what you feel from the person or around the person. And to practice doing that, it's like turning a switch on and turning a switch off. You're aware of it, and it works very well then. And then when you have people you can share with, or say, for example, share reading back and forth what you're both feeling, I think that helps a lot. But to do it on your own in a sense of imagine what you feel with the individual. Now, when I do a circle over here at Fellowship on Wednesday nights, I usually have people there that we've had a nice sized group for a few weeks here. So it's been a lot of fun. And what I do is I get people to do a little meditation and set the intent and ask Spirit to come to us in a way that we may understand and recognize her presence. And then we also put out the intent that may show me in a way that I may understand and recognize what's the message and what's the reasoning, and take time to look at each person in the circle. Well, you can do this by looking at each person around you, be it a mall, be it a store, be it whatever, and just see what randomly comes in. Because when you're trying to focus on it too hard, it becomes more difficult. And if we allow it to just happen, it works so well for us. And to learn that ability, that even if we're on the phone talking with someone, we can pick things up and be able to share it with them. Now, I'm sure there are people that don't understand and don't know, but I feel there's other people we'd share with where we could able to say, you know, I really felt this with you, and can you recognize any of the things I'm sharing with you? And that way it really helps them open up, and you're opening up more too. And you make that contact with Spirit, because I'm sure you'll have people answer yes to things you're able to share with them. And it'll be meaningful. And sitting in a group of some kind, I don't know how many of you have a group around you that you could sit with, or a meditation group, and learn to open yourself in that manner. You know, when I was a child, I picked up on everyone around me, and it was hard for me to decipher which one am I picking it up on, and is it really there from that person? So as we start practicing that, the old adage of practice makes perfect. As we do it, we'll start recognizing more and more where we're picking it up from and what it really means. Some of you have been working with your own mediumship and feeling a little more confident in the idea of what you're feeling. And I think that will expand on its own. And I find with working with our mediumship and healing, I think the healing energy is right along with the mediumship. And if you're thinking about it in a way, the mediumship functions in healing just the same way as it does in messages. If you're thinking about someone and you've heard they're not feeling well, and you start thinking about them and put out the energy that you're asking harmony for them and peacefulness for them, and you're seeing them as whole and harmonious in their health and energy, you start seeing that, you'll start feeling the energy change within you, and you'll recognize the fact that you're really in tune and you're sending the energy. I've had people call me up and they would say, Greg, have you been thinking about me? Have you been sending me energy? I can feel it. And at times that can happen where your intensity grows to a point where they recognize where it's coming from. And all we need to do is just have that intent. Setting the intent is the important part, and that works very well then, and you're allowing yourself to go with that. And it's really an interesting energy to witness, because once you get in tune to it, there's no question that you're in tune to it. It's there and it's working. And I feel sometimes we look at things and go, well, am I doing it? Am I not doing it?
I found something on the web for Sharon Twerking. Take a look.
We have another computer speaking to us that Leslie's taking care of, but I think we have 4 computers here, and we had one that answers to voice. Now, I see healing as something you can do, absent healing, and all you need to do is set up the thought and the answer for people, and you start thinking about them and see them from head to toe as whole. Their energy is flowing, and it's wonderful for them, and you see that happening. And I've had it many times where people have contacted me and said, I know you were thinking about me last night. You were on my mind, or I felt your presence. How many of you I know there's a couple of people here that don't have the picture, but I feel there's a few people here that do have the picture. And if we look at the idea that we can feel things and sense things, and we do it at times where we doubt what we're feeling, and we're learning to not doubt so much and to go with what you're really sensing and feeling. Now, if someone has questions about the mediumship, there's a few people here that we don't have visual with, and one's on the phone here, a couple of them on the phone.
Just one Nancy. Oh,
Nancy?
This is Nancy.
Nancy, do you have a question?
Let me unmute her. Okay.
Nancy, do you have a question?
Once you have contact with spirit, how do you keep that going? Can you maintain it for a little while, or does it just come and go as needed?
Well, it's going to come and go a little bit, but in a sense of maintaining it is you're setting the intent and you're allowing yourself to focus on it. And if it's an intent of mediumship or it's an intent of healing, either way, you're making the contact. And because of your intent, you're going to hold the energy and hold the closeness to them.
Okay.
And as you do that, think about them now. Give me a scenario that you work with now.
Well, just asking the question, saying a prayer of protection, asking the questions for clarity and guidance, and then waiting for some kind of response.
Mm-hmm. Well, the calmness of you having this quietness and allowing yourself to relax more, it's like that will bring the answers, and it's going to bring more clarity to you, and you'll recognize it, and that's going to be a big help.
Okay, because sometimes I'll just think, I wish I could, find that map or something, and then a day later or so I'll find it in a bag or something, the first thing I pull out. So it's kind of like a delayed thing.
Yes. Well, setting the intent that you have something you're looking for and that you're asking for guidance. And as we ask for the guidance, we put the intent forward and then we let go of it. It's like mailing a letter It's like if you keep writing PS on it, you never get it mailed. They'll never get the mail. And if we just go ahead and write the letter, let go of it, it's going to be fine. And it's going to be the answer we're needing, because as we let go of it, they then can work with the energy. But if we don't let go of it, we're hanging on to the energy of it.
It's like when you're doing a reading, like for me, for instance, you're able to make contact right away.
Yes.
So that's because you have a stronger connection. And how do you strengthen that connection?
Well, there's more confidence in what I do because I recognize that I don't question when I get it. Even if it doesn't have something that rings to me in a conscious way, I feel there's an energy there and it's meaningful. What we're all learning here is the idea that what I pick up doesn't matter to me, it matters to you. And when I pick it up, I need to share it and give it, and not sit back and try to analyze or question what it is or how it came through or what does it mean, because, it doesn't mean a thing to me. It means something for you. And if we allow ourselves to look at that premise that we're not sitting there trying to analyze and figure it out, it's going to work very well. And when we try to analyze and figure it out, we're putting our own spin on it. We're putting our own thought pattern on it. And we're not going to do it right then. And we're not going to hit the right answer because we're looking at our view or vantage point of it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you. Now we have another one we can't see.
I removed them from the room since they didn't want to put a name down.
Okay.
I couldn't confirm who they were.
All righty. That's fine. Anyone else have a question? Please raise your hand.
All right, let me unmute Robin. It's Robin's. Ready?
Hi, Robin.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
My question isn't about anything specific that's going on currently, but it's been a question that's been asked to me on occasion, and something that I question sometimes for myself. If I
Yes.
get any kind of what feels like an intuition for my own life, is how do you tell the difference between fear and intuition, genuine intuition? Know what I mean?
Now, fear and intuition?
The difference, how do you know that you're not just afraid something's going to happen versus that your intuition tells you this is happening?
All right. When you have something come to you that is not related to what you're thinking, and Spirit will bring you an answer, and remember, you've already put the intent of protection, you've already put the intent of guidance, you've already asked Spirit to guide you in whatever way necessary, so you're protected already. So there's no need for the fear. And if you have something you're doubting and a little afraid of what the outcome would be, in a sense of a subject matter, you're a little afraid of the outcome, I feel a need to look at the outcome and realize you're going to survive whatever it is, you're going to be fine, and to allow yourself to look at it without the fear, but really consciously work on the idea of putting that aside and just asking for the highest and best. Because when we put out the energy of intent and we ask for the highest and best, we're clearing ourselves of the fear and we're clearing ourselves of any negativity.
Okay.
See, by setting the intent first is really the clarity part, that we're there for the highest and best in whatever comes through, and to trust it and allow it and not feel like you have to debate things.
Okay.
All
That makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Well, I'm contemplating a kind of a big change with I live in a mobile home, and it's getting very old, and I want to make sure I'm making the right decision as far as replacing it or whatever needs to happen. And so I just wondered if you could see anything in that regard.
Well, I feel very good with your changes, and I think the change is going to be excellent, and you'll make your mind up. But would you understand you're looking at a double wide?
No, it's a long single wide, longer than I ever knew they make.
Well, would you recognize they're wider than normal?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I see it wider than normal, and I don't know what normal is, so they're just telling me wider than normal, and I
Yeah.
feel good about it. And I'm also seeing you doing the additional room that is like the Four Season room you can go out and enjoy.
Oh, that sounds good.
And I see no problem with that because I really see you getting money out of the older one, and I'm seeing you being able to have the newer one and really enjoy it. Plus, I have the feeling of it being built better than what you're in at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
And would you understand they actually have it set up for storm proofing?
For storm proofing.
Yes. The idea of high winds and things like that.
Well, the new requirements are definitely a lot stronger than ever before.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah,
when they're
they
showing me that, I just feel like there's a protection energy with it that I feel much safer in it in relationship to storms and weather.
yeah, that would make sense.
I feel very good about it, and I see it as a change you're going to be happy with, but I definitely see the additional room on it, and it's a fairly large room. It's not a little tiny room.
Well, that'd be great. I love sunrooms or screened rooms.
Yes. And I see it with windows you can open and close where it's something if you wanted to use it into cooler weather, you could. And I feel it'll work out very nicely. Plus, would you understand having not so much a garage, but there's like a carport set up on it too?
Sounds good. I'm sort of in the beginning planning stages, so it's whatever the wallet will allow.
Well, I get the feeling here you're going to be able to work a deal out. And I see you getting something where very possibly you'd have zero interest on it. And I feel the opportunity to get something there where it'd really be a good discount.
Sounds good. I'm a pretty good bargainer.
I feel very good with that. I think you'll be very happy with the results.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you.
You too.
Now, Susie had her hand up.
Yeah, let me unmute her. Okay.
Hi, Susie.
John and I each have been waking up at night, not at the same time, but one of us will wake up and it will be 3:33 or 1:11 or and all the numbers are the same numbers. And it's happened to us a couple of times.
Yes. Well, it's wonderful because that's master numbers and you're having a higher level of your own thought and your own emotions. And I feel you're picking up on things with spirit and they're coming through to you. And I feel each of you have been feeling and sensing more, and you're going to feel and sense more. Plus, I feel the spirit world is becoming closer, and you sometimes are sensing things and realizing that afterwards you looked at it and went, wait a minute, I felt that a little earlier.
Okay.
And you're going to have more happen that I feel spirits coming through and helping. And I feel John's mom, and I feel her energy, and I see her hanging out, and it's really a nice energy there.
Good.
And I kept seeing you, and I feel that, would you understand there was a little concern about a sister here a short time ago that she wasn't feeling the best?
Yeah.
Because I just feel an energy that she mentally and emotionally can get very down at times.
Okay.
And I feel when she talks to you, sometimes she doesn't really express it, but I feel you can send her energy and healing, and you get very intense with your thinking, and you have a real deep thought process. And I see you sending her healing, and I feel she may even call you on the phone at one point, and it's like, boy, you're on my mind. Well, I feel you're sending her energy.
Good. Good.
Good energy.
We had a friend come today to the house that was having some feeling down. Her husband's sick, and she just needed to talk to somebody. And I think by the time she left, she felt a little more upbeat than when she came.
Well, I feel not only she felt more upbeat, but I felt energy there that she had a lot of energized energy that was incredibly helpful to her, and it made a huge difference in her ability to go home and handle things.
Good.
Please continue with the healing, dear. You're doing very well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will give it my best.
I know you will. No question.
All right. Yeah. And mute Jean.
Hey, Jane.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am well. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Jean.
I've had a chaotic day.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on. And I'm trying to stay calm because I understand you can't communicate very well with spirit or anyone else if you're upset by things. So I guess I'm wondering, does spirit have anything to tell me about my day, about how to be more accessible for them, or
Well, your ability to detach from all the crazy energy has been helpful. And I feel that it's a bit sporadic, where at moments you feel a lot calmer, and then you feel like it sneaks back in where you're getting a little wound up. But I feel you just have to keep catching it and shutting it down. And as you do that, it'll make a big difference, because the more control you gradually gain on that, the more calmness you're going to have, and the more contact with spirit you're going to have. And their ability to guide you will be even stronger.
Well, I had somebody in the parking garage yelling at me today, and I had, they're trying to raise taxes all around the whole county, and, repairs I have to make and all sorts of things. And I do get myself wound up about these. And people who are really successful at communicating with spirit are very calm people. I don't know how to do that.
Well, I think you're learning to be calmer, but I feel with you that what happened today was sort of a test, and it was testing you to say, wait a minute here, do I go into the calmness and I don't really get wound up over what they're doing or saying, or do I let myself respond to their energy? Because they're functioning from a level, very simply, it's called misery likes company. And if they can get everybody to be stirred up as they are, they love it. They thrive on it.
I just told him to quit yelling at me. I had to tell him several times, but he finally stopped.
Well, let's put it this way. Where was this at?
It was in the parking garage. Yeah. He
At
says
where you work?
at work, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was sitting in a place where you're not supposed to park. It's got a whole bunch of lines on it. And, he says I hit his car, which is impossible because there's nothing on either car.
Yeah.
It was one of those days. So he finally settled down and apologized later. But, it's like I just try to go along calmly, and then I try to practice this, and then something happens, and now I can't get back into my calmness.
It's called a real world test. And it's something that when it happens, dear, if you knew it was coming, it wouldn't be a real world test.
Yeah.
So you're getting tested a bit on that. But I feel also you're rebounding back to the calmness, and you're rebounding more quickly than what you used to. Because at one time in the past, you'd be so wound up, you'd be almost sick over it.
Right.
And I feel now you're catching yourself, and even though you may get a little wound up, it's not that full strength. You're really blowing the energy out. I see it becoming calmer yet, and I do see you becoming more at peace with that. And God bless them somewhere else, preferably further away. You don't need the hassle. And when people want to scream and carry on, I just look at them, and it's like I start sending them love and healing, and they don't know what to do with the energy. And sometimes they want to blow up even more for a moment just to try to force issues. And I just keep sending the energy, and it's like they pretty soon don't know what to do.
Well, I don't know if I can actually do that. I'm not that happy with him. He did apologize and settle down, and so I must have done something okay, but it just, I'm not as altruistic as you are when somebody's standing there screaming at me.
I've had a few conditions in my life occur where there was this real physical world temptation to just go punch them,
No, I don't do that, but
I've had that occur in my life, and I've realized that isn't the answer for things usually. So to step aside. And I feel you're doing a good job of recentering and coming back to your center. And that'll be a regrouping of energy that you can then anchor more and more. Because remember, the more you recenter, the more anchored you're going to be, and the less that's going to happen. And it can be pretty severe what someone is doing, but you're just not going to fall into the energy and allow it to occur. And I know you're on your way to that because you're actually doing it a lot better now than you used to.
Yeah, this is true.
There was a time you didn't feel you could do it, and now you know you can.
Well, I can do it when I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
But when I want to do it, it's like I guess I try too hard. I don't know. I would like to have it come to me more, but if I'm trying, it won't come to me.
Well, I
But
feel it's going to come to you more, and I feel you're becoming more aware of that. And I see it working because when you learn to detach a little bit from some of the energy that's coming at you, even though it's very powerful, it's like you're letting it go past you, you're not absorbing it, and that'll just bring you into more calmness more quickly.
so would you can you give us a technique if we're upset about something or have anxiety about something to stop thinking about that? You get caught in like a thought cycle. I mean, how
Well,
do you?
think of it this way. Think of something you really enjoy doing that is truly calm for you.
Mm-hmm.
And start concentrating on that brings the energy back down to a level that you can deal with. And then you can come to that level where, okay, now I'm in a calmer space. And I feel at times you can divert yourself into that calmer space and then come back at it with a realistic view of it and not be looking at it through upset, anger, or frustration, but be looking at it as, here's the reality of it, what's really going on.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Yes.
Wait, let me unmute him.
She was raising her hand
Who? What?
right here.
Oh, was Suri or Richard first?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I was in the process of unmuting Richard.
All right, Richard, we'll start with you.
Okay, so to do any type of spiritual work, healing, mediumship, it's important to keep your vibration up. Do you have some suggestions to, especially with the energies coming through now in the earth plane, and you want to get a maximum, you want to move up with the energy vibrations, and it's just, there's always stuff happening during the day that seems to put you back down. So I'm wondering if you have some suggestions to keep your vibration up.
Think of it this way. If we allow ourselves to imagine that we're outside of that energy and we're looking at the energy, we understand it, we haven't lost any awareness of it, but we're outside of it. In other words, we're not allowing the energy to be within us that's disturbing and upsetting, but we're looking at it. And as we look at it, we start to send the energy of calmness and harmony into that field of energy. And when you're feeling what you're feeling, you'll start to step into a calmness and you'll start to sense the idea of purpose. And your purpose and intent will take over. And that will really be the stronger energy for you. And you'll pretty soon really not even pay attention to what normally would have upset you. You're just working on the thought of it bringing balance. I've had it happen where I see situations where you want to react to it, and I've learned to step back from it a bit and not do the normal conscious reaction, but look at it as something that, okay, I may not even know how or what, but I start to send the energy of harmony and calmness. And I almost look at it as blinding yourself to the energy that's there in negativity. And you just start to focus on that positive, and you go right to the core and you keep the positive going. And then it dissipates that negative explosion of energy. And you're now really in the core and you're bringing harmony. You're bringing calmness.
So it's like watching your emotions from a higher perspective.
Yes. Being able to be, now I would refer to it this way. I would say some people may think of it as being out of the body, and they step aside so consciously away from the conscious that they're able to be so clear. But I feel we can be in the body and fully aware, but we can also separate it in a sense of saying we're not carrying it within us. It doesn't permeate our body energy, we're able to do this in a way where we're shielded, we're protected, and keep sending the energy out in a positive way. I've had it happen a number of times in life where there would be an accident where someone got hurt. And a gentleman said to me afterwards, I helped him. He was in a car accident. And I said to him, I said, you're not bleeding badly. You're all right. And he was bleeding profusely everywhere. And I said to him, you're not bleeding badly. Just be calm. We're okay. You're going to the hospital. And he looked at me in shock, because he was in shock. It was about an 80-mile-an-hour collision to a dead stop, and demolished the car, pushed the motor completely through the firewall. And I'm talking to him, and he was actually trapped in the car. The floorboards and dash had wrapped up around him. And I'm talking to him, and the bleeding slowed down to a very slow bleed. And I'm talking to him and saying, you know, you're going to be all right here. I said, we're just going to get you out and get you in the hospital. And I said, you know, you just need to relax. You're okay. And I kept that focus going and keep the intent going. And he responded to it completely. When the rescue squad got there and the medics were there, I said to the one medic, I said, he's in a pretty calm state for what's happened. I said, I've worked with him on the mental part of it, that he's going to be all right. And the guy's looking at me and sees the dash push clear back over the gear shift. And he was looking at me like, oh my God, are you out of your mind? This guy was just in a horrendous collision. And he's looking at him, and he starts to put the bandage on him, the pressure bandage, to make sure he wouldn't bleed anymore. And I've been holding an artery, and he put a pressure bandage on that. And I'm talking to the guy like he's perfectly okay. And in essence, he was. Because he was believing and understanding that he was in a position of harmony, and he was in a position that he was all right. And the other medic looked at me after they got him out on the backboard, and they had a pry metal around to get his leg out. I said to him, I said, you're on your way to the hospital. I said, here, and he had a bag sitting there, and I put the bag on top of him on the carry board, and I said, here's your bag. I said, you're fine. I said, you're off to the hospital. And he thanked me, talked to me, everything was fine. And the other medic said to me afterwards, he says, are you an EMT? And I said, no. And he goes, well, you did exactly what was needed. He could have bled out. And I said, I know, but he was going to be all right. But I was sending him that intensity of healing and focus on him and getting his mind and his consciousness to focus. When we step beyond the conscious physical level and we reach that point where we're in that spiritual energy, you can have things happen that work wonderfully, and it's no problem at all. So when you're setting intent and you put that intent out there, you're in that energy. You're not doing it as a separate thing. You're in the energy, you're projecting the energy, you're giving them healing energy, and it really manifests.
Okay.
Any other question?
No, unless there's something you feel like saying. I don't have any follow-up question.
Well, one of the things I was feeling with you, you have a wonderful ability to give to people, but I feel at times that you don't have that many people around you that you can be that open with and share with right around you. That makes sense?
Yes.
And I see you having some friendships now, whether it's through this class or whether it's through some other group, but I see you having some friendships that I'm seeing you starting to spend some time communicating with, be it by text or be it by phone or whatever form. But I see you starting to share with someone and just say, okay, this is what I'm feeling or picking up with you. And I could see them sharing with you, you sharing with them. I think you're both going to be surprised how well it'll work. But I feel like you have a friendship that's not physically right around you, but yet you can share with in that form.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. No.
Sheree now. Let me.
Hi, Siri.
Hang on. Okay.
All righty, you're on.
Hi, Reverend. Hi, Leslie.
Hi.
Hi. Let me see. I have so much stuff on my mind. 2 days ago, my daughter got locked in her room, and she knows she hadn't locked the door. And right before that, she had been looking at cards that her father had sent her. Her father passed away in January.
Yes.
And he was a locksmith, actually. And she got locked in and she couldn't get out. And my mother had to end up calling the people from downstairs, the security to come. They had to break the door. And she's like, Mom, you think that was Dad? I was like, yeah, I think it was him. And
I feel definitely it was your husband. And I feel he's very close to your daughter, and he wanted her to know he was there.
Yeah, I think so too. She's like, you think he had a message? I mean, I don't know if I just said this out of the top of my head. See, because my mother's planning is in the process of moving right now from her co-op to a different one. And she thought my daughter was going to come with her. But now, of course, my daughter at the last minute decided not to come. My daughter decided to go move now to her own apartment in Jersey. She's never been on her own, but she has these plans now to move out. And I'm worried about her. I'm hoping that she and the girls will be fine because they're moving to Jersey. We live in New York.
Well, I feel they'll be all right. But what I feel there is the locked door was a symbol of her needing to be where she is instead of making a big jump, because she really is not in a position financially to be able to take care of everything to the degree that she needs to.
So her father was giving her a message, huh?
Yes.
Well, she's not listening because she's going right ahead and moving out.
Well, let's do it this way. God bless her. She'll figure it out. And to not dive in and be financially helping her to subsidize and keep her going there, let her figure out whether she can make it or not make it on her own. And I feel the energy there now. She has also children.
Yes, my 2 granddaughters.
Would you recognize that she has a bit of a difficulty here, because how am I going to have people babysit the kids while I'm doing what I need to do to make money?
Yeah, well, she's saying that she's going to bring the girls to New York so I could watch them, so my mother could watch them. I don't know. She wants me to go over there, but I have my dog, so I can't stay away for too long.
I'll put it this way. She's being a bit unrealistic, but I feel the energy with her that she hasn't matured in that area yet, and she needs to have more maturity. And I feel there's an energy of you guys not going crazy trying to help, and let her figure out that she's really got to make more sound decisions here. It's basically a lesson that she's having to learn is what I'm feeling.
Okay, yeah, I figured that. I just get frightened because many years ago, a psychic told me that my daughter was going to end up homeless. And, I fear that because, my 2 granddaughters are only 4 and one is going to be 2. They're babies and they're little girls.
Number one, you would never let them be homeless, and you already know that. And I feel the energy there that it's not going to be an issue of homeless. I feel what it comes down to is her forcing herself now. Remember, she's challenging herself to have to be responsible. On one hand, she wants to be responsible. On the other hand, she's not always used to being really responsible. And I see her putting herself to the test, and that's her way of forcing herself to have to focus and be responsible.
So it could be a good thing, huh?
I think it's making her change and grow a lot, and I feel it's a lesson in her life. And not to dive in and do all the extras, let her have to really do it on her own, and I could see her doing better.
Okay, and the girls will be safe if she ends up putting them in school over there?
I feel they'll be safe, yeah.
Okay.
They'll be safe.
Okay, we'll see.
Any other question?
I don't know. Anything else I need to know right now?
Well, I feel with you. Now, how old is your mother?
My mother's 82 now, and she's very stressed, and yeah.
Well, I see her so wound up that she could flap her arms and fly there. I see her so upset about things because she feels like she's got to be on top of everything and making sure it's in order. And I see her needing to step back a bit and realize she can't take it all on.
What do you mean she's ready to flap on? You mean to die?
No, she just wants to take off emotionally and get everything fixed. Because I feel, she vents to you and she winds you up, and she tries not to say too much to your daughter at times now.
Yeah, because my daughter's very temperamental. Very temperamental.
Yes, she gets very mad about things. If someone doesn't do or say what she thinks or what she wants, she gets very expectational, and she wants the outcome she wants.
That's true. And my mother's kind of very temperamental too. And I'm in the middle because I try to keep calm, but I end up getting riled up with the two of them.
Well, I'll put it this way. One can be a little older and immature at times, and one can be a little younger and immature at times.
It's true.
I see you balancing it out, but I see you being able to help your mom, and I see her, you just handle things in a matter-of-fact manner, and you don't allow it to be a circumstance where you get all into the yelling and screaming, because I feel that both of them can do that at times.
Constantly drama, constant. It's
And
horrible.
I just see you stepping back, and it's like, you know what? When things come to a calmer level, that's fine. We'll deal with it then.
Okay.
All right?
Well, continue doing that. Okay.
Good.
Thank you, Reverend.
Anything else?
No, just wanted to know if Spirit had anything to tell me financially. Is there any way I could start making a little money? Because
I see you making some money, and I see extra money, and I see it as somewhat of a fun money, that I have a little extra to do some things I want to. And I feel that your daughter's going to have to figure some things out here, because I don't see her really making what she needs to be making to be able to be completely on her own. And I think that's something you already know.
Yeah. God.
She'll figure it out.
I just hope she doesn't do anything illegal, because she hangs around with people that do illegal things, and I just fear for her,
Well, that's where she's really at there. She has these tests in front of her, and it's a challenge for her. Do we do what's right, or do we do what we want to do? Sometimes she has the attitude that the laws and rules of the world don't apply to her.
I know.
Okay, God bless her.
Okay, Reverend.
Anyone else have a question?
You said
Oh, I just muted her. Sorry. We got Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Leslie.
Hi.
Greg, my question is, I do readings also, but I'm finding it very hard to stay, I'm going to say, with spirit, because it always seems to turn into a psychic reading after like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I just can't seem to hold that link.
Well, I don't feel a problem you holding a link there. I feel with you, you've had some people that sometimes get into some pretty trivial stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It draws you into the psychic realm instead of the mediumistic realm, because they're approaching things and things that are just sort of silly. And I feel with you, some of the people that you work with, they like having their drama and they like continuing it.
Mm-hmm. I work on the lines on the internet, so there's your drama.
Yeah.
I do have my own office in town, and that's where I'd like to get more mediumship in.
Well, I think you're going to be working in the mediumship more, but I'll put it this way. I find at times some people come in and they have the attitude of wanting a reading, or at least they're saying they want a reading, but what they want is what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
And,
definitely.
We slip into a psychic awareness at times, and they're holding it at that level, and they're not allowing it to go into a more spiritual level, because they're trying to command or control the circumstances they want to be in, or the end they want to have.
Yeah, and it's usually the relationship. When's he going to call? Does he care? Constantly, all day.
Well, that's what I see you coming to, though, is that ability to look at it and say, listen, I have to give what I get.
Oh, I always do that.
Spiritually is what has to come through for the person.
Mm-hmm.
And I may not like it at times, but at a later time when the events occur and you've been absolutely right, I could see them taken back a bit then, that it's like, wow, I didn't want to hear that, but that's the way it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the ability to do that without a problem. I mean, that's no issue. And I just see regrouping emotionally in that, because you're wanting to help the person and your sincerity's there. And I feel calmness coming where it's like, this is what I really pick up as important. I've actually had to stop clients and say, listen, this is what Spirit's giving me. And they're wanting to know about, the boyfriend, is he coming back? And they fight and they carry on.
Mm-hmm.
And I bypass that and I go to the level of, spiritually, what lessons are we here for? And what are we here to learn?
Yeah.
And I take it away from that physical, emotional craziness, and I put it in a realm of what are we learning by this,
Okay.
and
Do
that
you see
helps.
me doing
And
more
sometimes,
mediumship privately?
I'm sorry.
You see me doing more mediumship privately, like through
Yes,
my
I
rooms and
definitely
stuff?
feel you're going to be able to do that more. Yes.
Yeah, good. I like being able to do that, to bring them through instead of, like you say, the
Yeah.
relationships. It gets tiring after a while.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen some people that they want to hear what they want to hear. And I've actually had them say, well, I didn't care for that. I didn't like that. And then they come back later and go, oh my God, how many things you shared happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had one lady come back and say to me, she says, I'm embarrassed. And she says, I'm really embarrassed about, how I acted with you when you finished the reading, because she didn't get the answer she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And she had this major question in her mind, but that's the answer she wanted. And she wasn't going to listen to anything else. And she
I
went
tell
to,
everybody that I only can give you what I'm getting from my guides. What everybody else is giving you, I don't care, because
yeah,
I'm gonna tell you what I'm getting, and that's
that's
it.
the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
I had her come back and she looked at me and she says, I have to apologize. And she says, I know I made the appointment for a reading, but she says, I have to ask you if you're willing to read for me. Because she said, I really was very negative when I was here last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, I said, I'll be glad to read for you. I said, but just understand that it's spirit bringing it through. And what we on a conscious basis sometimes consider so important, it really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
What's really important is what they're bringing through to us.
Yeah. Is there any way to get more exact with things, like how they have passed, or, I mean, I can pick up if it's a male or a female. I usually get a name, so I'll just state, okay, the letter J. Let's say something like that instead of giving a name.
Sure.
But I never get really how they pass.
Well, one of the things I feel with you that at times can happen, would you recognize you've been noticing you'll feel something going on in your body that would be an illness or a problem? And that's part of the recognition of the person coming through, that did they have a heart attack? Did they have a stroke? What kind of condition did they occur? And you may feel something going on in your body that's a symbol of that, to share with them then and say, this is what I'm feeling. He had pain in his head when he passed, and he had a stroke condition occur.
Okay. No, I do feel things. Yeah, definitely.
It'll come through more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I feel with you, there's times you've had some clients that I want to say, it's very trivial stuff they're focused on that I wouldn't even want to bother with, and I know you wouldn't want to bother with either.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And like I had some of these I've been reading for years, and it's the same thing, the same relationship. I try to get their focus on them and to heal, and don't worry about the relationship. But
Yeah, I think you're doing very well with that, and continue, and I think you're going to see results. But I just see you just saying, listen, this is what spirit gives me, and this is what they consider important. Because this trivial stuff they're into, that's going to just wash away and be history, and the important things are going to stand out.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, now Scott has a question.
Hey, Scott.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Any messages that are coming through, please?
I feel you have a gentleman on the spirit side of life with you that kept standing behind you, and I feel a very loving energy, but I see him a man that on the earth plane would have had a hard time showing all his love and emotions. He was a very contained person, and I would say somewhat reserved in a way. He didn't let everybody know everything. And I see him with you, and I feel older than yourself, not your age, but I get older, but I see him very supportive of you. And would you recognize you've been toying with the idea that where you're living is something that would be a stepping stone, and you've had thoughts of actually making changes?
I wanted to ask you about, I applied to a job down south, but they haven't even called yet. Do you think that they will, or I wasn't sure.
I see you communicating with them, and I feel another energy. Now, down south is where?
Clarksburg, West Virginia.
I feel there's 2 jobs that I feel open. Would you recognize in the same place there's 2 openings of work? Have they posted?
I just applied to the one that I felt qualified for. I'm sorry. My internet's breaking out.
All right. Well, I get the feeling here of you having an opportunity. There's actually 2 jobs that are going to be open. And I feel the one job I feel you'll be able to get, and I see it as creating an opportunity of moving and an idea of you being in a new space, a new place, new work, and it's a good feeling.
May I mention the name of the place?
Sure.
And it was the FBI.
I feel very comfortable with the door opening, and I feel like that's why I see 2 positions, and I'm not sure what to call them or title them, but I see 2 positions. So see if there isn't something else open or offered, and I can see you checking it out because I see you getting one of them lined up where you're going to go for an interview.
Thank you.
I see 2 interviews, and I feel there's actually 2 other positions open to you. So I want to say have a good look. And would you recognize that one of the interviews would mean for training?
I'm sorry, one more time.
One of the interviews would position you to go to school in training.
Okay. Okay.
Because I see a door opening and I feel good about it. And I definitely feel that the job would actually lead to you making a move.
Very nice.
Good energy with that. Good luck with it.
The person that you see here, is it someone that I knew, now, or was it maybe from the other side?
I feel from the other side, I feel you were little when he passed.
My grandfather?
I feel grandfather energy. I feel when he passed, he knew he was leaving. And I feel he knew and understood what was going on in the body.
Mm-hmm. He had cancer on my dad's side.
Yes. And he was a very kind man, but would you understand a bit reserved? He didn't let everybody know everything.
I believe so, yeah.
Because I get like a stoic energy with him.
Mm-hmm.
God bless him. He's with you. I don't know what kind of work he did, but he's shown me you making decisions about travel, and I'm seeing you enjoying the traveling, and I see some doors opening, and it's really going to be good energy for you.
Thank you. You want to say hi to Mom real quick?
You already had something happen that would have been a situation where you wanted so badly for something to work and it fell apart. This goes back a little ways now in time, but it fell apart, and I feel now you're looking at new avenues.
I'm trying to.
It's going to work, and it's going to be fine.
Thank you.
Oh,
You're welcome. Now, what did she want to know?
Oh, did you have any questions?
No, I can't think of anything right now.
Swing the picture over. Swing the camera over so I can see her. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. You know, dear, as I'm looking at you, there's a woman on the spirit side of life with you that comes in very close. I feel when she passed away, she had difficulty with her organs in her body shutting down.
Wonder who that is. Recently, she passed away?
I feel going back a bit, she passed away. I don't feel recent. I feel a while ago, but I see her with you and supportive of you. And she's saying that you sometimes see movements out of the corner of your eye, and you sometimes look and think, what was that? If something was there and it's gone. And she said to me, that's me. And she says, tell her she sees more and understands more than what she's admitting to.
Okay. I've been trying to talk to my guide to tell them to speak up if they want me to know something. I'm trying to communicate with them better.
Well, I feel they're not only communicating with you better, but you're setting the intent, the door is opening more, and you're going to have more happen where they will reach through. Also, remember the day you heard your name called and you thought someone else on the physical plane said something, but yet there's nobody there saying anything?
I don't remember. I remember them calling my name nice and loud.
Yes.
But I don't remember anything else. I think I was such a shock.
Well, they were showing me they called your name, and they wanted you to know that when you're in that calm state of mind, they could reach through to you and let you know they're there. And they're very happy to do so.
Oh, good. I told them, anytime I'm open for them.
Well, you're on the right track. Allow yourself to be open to it and relax with it because I see them coming through more.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
You're welcome. Now, on September 18th, we'll be doing this again, and it should be a lot of fun. We'll be able to do that. And I'm also going to be in Ohio, and when I'm in Ohio, that will be October the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and I'll be in Ohio, and I think I'll be at the Eastwood Mall, and I'll be working with people there, reading for people there. So if anyone's interested, they can contact me and line up appointments if they'd like to. Oh, Blog Talk Radio will be the 25th of September. We're going to be on the air with Blog Talk Radio, and that radio, you can dial Blog Talk on the phone, and you can listen in on the whole program, or you can dial Blog Talk on the phone, and then you punch 1, and it'll take you on with the host, which at that point will be me, and we can talk on the air. And that'll be actually a radio show, and we're going to be doing that. I was on a radio show with Michael Long, and I was on with him probably about 12 years, and he passed away with a heart problem, and I did the show with him, and then I think it was the next Saturday he passed over. But I'm going to further that and work with the Blog Talk, and we just get things lined up to do that, so it'll be a lot of fun. And that's going to be the 25th of September, Blog Talk Radio. You can go look on the website, and it'll show you how to do it and how to connect. All righty.